Welcome, everybody, to the Executive Edge Live, part of the Scale Smart, Grow Fast podcast by Workergenix. I'm Harley Green, founder and CEO of Workergenix, where we help founders and executive teams delegate what drains them so they can focus on scaling strategically. Today's session is all about what happens when your sales systems hit their breaking point. The missed follow-ups, the messy handoffs, the how are we still doing this manually moments. I'm thrilled to be joined by a powerhouse of leaders who've built revenue engines that run without them constantly propping them up. Whether you're selling services or widgets or investment offerings, these are the frameworks, workflows, and mindsets that help sales scale without spiraling into chaos. Thank you all to all our panelists for coming here today. We're going to kind of go around and do a quick introduction. We've got Kelly, who's a business sales coach and strategic revenue leader. Kelly has tripled client revenue in down markets and driven over $30 million through strategic event-based sales. She has over 26 years across sales, coaching, and marketing leadership, and she's known for turning messy pipelines into clean, profitable ecosystems. Next, we have Sara. Sara is a wealth strategist and premium offer architect. Sara helps women package their expertise into high-ticket offers that actually sell. With over 17 years in coaching and finance, she scaled dozens of service-based businesses by helping founders lead with clarity and price with confidence. Next, we have Steven, a sales leader, strategist, and culture builder. After rebuilding his life and business from the ground up, Steven now helps high-performance sales teams grow with systems that stick. He's obsessed with alignment, ownership, and letting purpose lead process. And last but certainly not least, Beth is a fractional sales leader and process coach. Beth builds outsourced sales solutions for founders who want results without micromanagement. She's hands-on, process-driven, and deeply focused on helping teams execute consistently. Thank you to all of our panelists for being here today. How's everyone doing?
Really good.
Amazing. Thank you, Harley.
Well, before we went live, we were talking a little bit about where everybody is in the world. I think it's kind of fun that we've got a great coverage across the world and across the US. Maybe we take a second to just kind of go around, a quick introduction, and share where you're coming from today. We'll start with you, Kelly.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Ann Peck. I am sitting in St. Petersburg, and I'm closing on my home tomorrow. So I will be moving 30 minutes up to Palm Harbor. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Steven, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm located here in the beautiful DFW Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth. So I'm a proud Texan now, but former New Yorker. And just big in the home improvement industry here in DFW.
Awesome. And Sara?
So I am like you, Harley, so I'm location independent. And at the moment, I am in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
All right. And Beth, where are you coming from today?
Well, I'm coming from the scenic city in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Ooh, love it.
I know that Texas is hot too. So
yes, it is.
We are having a heat waver.
Yes, it is.
And I thought and was sitting out on a porch originally, and I thought, oh, my goodness, bless his heart.
Nice. And I'm coming from Wallingford, England. So we're enjoying our summer here in the UK with a little bit milder weather, which we're very much enjoying. All right. Well, let's start with the obvious. And Beth, I'm going to send this one to you first. Why do so many growing businesses think they have a sales system when what they really have is just a string of people and tools?
Wow. You're really kicking it off. The reality is that as business owners, as human beings, and we are the subjects of great marketing, we think if we keep buying stuff and layering it on top of whatever we have, that it's going to fix our problems. And unfortunately, that doesn't fix our problems. It just adds complexity and more layers. And so sometimes you have to strip it down to the bare bones and take it back to the real basics and say, okay, what is it we're really trying to accomplish? Let's don't buy anything else. Let's don't layer anything else on top of it. Let's just figure out what it is we're trying to accomplish and see what you have that fits. But that's why, we want that quick fix. We want that magic pill that's going to make wonderful things happen. And that isn't necessarily what happens. You just get a rotten onion, as I call it, with lots of bad legs.
Yeah, great insight there. Anybody else on the panel want to add to that?
Yeah, so one of the things that I noticed with many entrepreneurs, service-based business and consultants is that they keep buying courses that probably they never finish. Like, how many of you has purchased many courses and has said yes and feeling like, yeah, they have been very supportive, but they have not really resolved the problem that they have. Not only that, but now they go to the next program or the next high ticket or the next mastermind, and then they're just accumulating things, or they feel that they're not ready because they need now to get these certifications and or this degree. And the reality is that it just creates a lot of confusion in what they're offered instead of having a flow and an intentional flow on how they provide their information and how they support their clients. A lot of times it's lack of clarity, having a clear messaging that attracts their ideal client, and having an offer that provides a big transformation.
I love what you said about that. I'm a baseball coach at heart, and I play Division II ball, but I always go back to fundamentals. And I think it's so important for business because as we scale, I love the scaling process, but it's very easy to get unwinded and unwound in the chaos. But sometimes you got to take a step back from all the chaos and go back to fundamentals. So, websites, CRM, focusing on your clients, focusing on conversations so within your employees to better their growth. Things like that really go a long way. And sometimes we become too innovative with all this AI stuff and everything that's coming out now, but that old school face-to-face with your client or with your employee goes a long way. So I just want to mention that because that's something I'm experiencing now. We're kind of dialing back in our company and we're putting focus on our customers.
All right. Well, this next one, Stephen, I think is a good one to start with you. And you kind of mentioned dialing back. And so I was curious, what was your moment of truth, that time when you realized your sales process needed to evolve or scale or was going to stall and just...
I'm an A personality. So once you hit that point of rust out, burnout, or, knockout, I call it, you hit that phase mentally, physically, spiritually, where you just can't take on no more. That was when the light bulb went off and I went back to my baseball days and said, anything I ever done in a team is where we've always done things that we never even imagined were possible. So that's when you have to dial back. I call it the process and procedure phase because without processes and procedures, you can never scale because you're always doing the minute tasks or, running yourself into the ground 12, 16, 18 hours a day. I was doing that during the pandemic. So I experienced it firsthand and I hit the rust out phase and the burnout phase. So when you hit that phase and then you're able to start your own company, I'm coming into it with experience now. It's my wife and I are business partners and we're growing a team and we have install teams and we have communication and we have a CRM that does a lot of the minute tasks for us. And we all help each other to not take on too much. So we can have that family work balance, which is so important. And I know as an entrepreneur, balance supposedly doesn't exist, but I do think there is a way of maximizing it to your most potential as you find that within your business and with your life.
Awesome. Anybody else have a moment of truth they want to share real quick here?
Sure. So last year, I decided my company got bought in 2022. I worked with an amazing coach that bought my company. And then I decided this isn't my client anymore. I absolutely love this person who bought my company, but I wanted to try to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I think my husband freaked out because he was like, oh my gosh, she's going to go back to being an entrepreneur again. If you see a lot of laughs right now, because, again, like our spouses and significant others, they don't understand that they get the ticket to the ride too of entrepreneurship when we decide to start these companies. So my husband was like, oh, okay, what are we planning? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do what I did before. It goes back to what Beth and Sara were talking about. When I started my second company, I had to have a website and I had to have this and I had to have that. And I'm a salesperson by heart. So what I really needed to do was just figure out what I wanted to do and just go and have conversations. So last August, that's exactly what I did. I just had an open heart and was open to every opportunity and every conversation that came my way. And I have landed numerous clients that are my dream clients without having to do all the big stuff because I thought that I needed to do those things. And I didn't. They wanted to work with me because of me, not because I have a website or I'm doing these other things. I was able to have conversations to get them to the yes of knowing that I could help them and fix their problems that they were working on. So I really feel like being in that headspace of just being like, I'm going to stand on the mountain and see what's going to come my way and just be open to those opportunities and not be so stressed out about it, because it can be very stressful. That has really been big opportunity and how I've been successful in the last almost year, of saying goodbye to one thing and just being really open to the opportunities of what is next in the journey of the unknown, which we all don't really like unknowns. So that's been great
Exactly.
for me.
I want to follow that. One thing that I realized when I was in all of that chaos, it was that I was not doing my business in alignment. And I sat down and I visualized who was the person that I see in the future. Who was that Sara that was super successful, living in alignment, living her vision, the lifestyle that she wants. And then at that point, I asked her, okay, where do I get to go? What do I get to do in order to become you right now, right? Not waiting. And it was hard. When I heard that voice of what I needed to do, I had resistance, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Or no, there's no way I can do that. But once I created that, once I listened to that voice and that vision, I was able to bring that vision into the present and live the life that I want. And at the same time, create a business that is aligned with that vision and serve my clients at the highest level, providing them a transformation and the opportunity for them to be able to live their vision as well. So my invitation to everyone that is watching is look at that person in the future and ask that person, who do I get to be in order to be you right now? And start living that vision right now. Stop waiting. Stop thinking that it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now is when you are going to be able to create that. No, start living that right now. Who do you get to be? What do you get to change right now in order to create that and complete?
I want to add what Sara said. The one thing that changed my life was not getting addicted to the company, I guess, but getting addicted to the people and the processes. Because as you guys know, transition is always going to happen. Companies are going to open, close, people are going to move on with their life. So if you don't get tied to a company name, as much as we like to, because we're entrepreneurs, and that was me early on. But if you can get tied to processes, procedures, and people, the 3Ps, that's where it gets exciting, because if something falls off in my life now, it doesn't bother me. And I know I can recreate it, and the confidence is there, the energy is there, and the experience is there. So, we have a gift as entrepreneurs here and business owners and professionals to do whatever we want. Like Sara said, you have a great opportunity in front of us. I call it your field of dreams. So, once you have that balance and alignment, you can create the life that you want to create in your field of dreams. I just want to add that.
Thank you. All right. Well, Kelly, this one I wanted to share with you first. You're the expert on pipelines here, I think. And now, and we maybe talked about this a little bit already. How do you start building a system that can convert leads without relying on you checking in every day? And where's that first fix?
So when you're starting out in business, or if you're putting together a new service, regardless of how long you've had your business, you need to go out and talk to your circle of influence. It's your biggest cheerleaders. It's your repeat clients. I have a new business. I'm really excited to talk to you about this opportunity. This is who I help. Having the most important part of any of the process with building your pipeline is literally you just have to have movement. And some people get stuck without just attempting to put the first foot forward. I would be lying if I have never been stuck. I have, but it's having that movement. When you are able to go out and build those relationships, when you are able to go out and have those conversations, those are highly effective. When you are building your pipeline and you have I'm a very big believer of two things: having a CRM so you can follow up, because that is in the riches, and having a CRM that literally you put your proposal in, they hit the contract, and they pay you. Because another thing that does get lost is people get really excited about the deals and they don't get the payment. So a very good CRM is very important to that. If you don't have a CRM, a very amazing spreadsheet will do the exact same thing for you, but it really becomes the follow-up, and it's asking for the yes. It's everybody in small businesses want to get to the happy dance. There is nothing like a high of a sale that will ever go away from me or any entrepreneur. But they also have to fall in love with selling. There are so many people, and I know there are so many people that everybody on this call talks to, that you hear from business owners, well, I really dislike selling. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to fall in love with being the number one salesperson in your business. Because if you cannot sell, that's selling is the only thing that gets the cash to go into the bank account. So, and it's also being in rooms where your actual client, potential client is. And we see that, all the time. For me, in my journey of last year, when I was trying to figure that out, I literally started exactly where I used to coach people in. I'm like, okay, I don't have a job. Am I going to go back into corporate America? Or I can just go land some deals. So that's exactly what I did. I went out and started having conversations to provide that movement and to build up the pipeline, because no matter what you're selling, it takes some time to be able to close those deals, whether they're your raving fans or it's somebody that you've just met on the street. But where I find people get it wrong in building their pipeline is we sell every day. And what I mean by that is I have to sell my 8-year-old on brushing his teeth in the morning, and I have to sell my husband on I want this bedroom furniture for the new house, and I have to sell my daughter on you can't watch your iPad at this time, you can watch it at this time. We're selling all day long. And it's having those conversations to create that movement in order to get people to know what your product is, and for them to say, yes, you can help me, and for you to land the deal. But starting out, it's follow-up, it's conversations, and it's just rinse and repeat.
I always ask people, how bad do you want it? Yes, I want us to go out and build your field of dreams, but if you build it, they will not come. Even Kevin Costner in the movie went out and talked about it, if you really think about it. But I always start out every presentation I do, I say, everybody sells. And you watch everybody like want to crawl under the table. They go, no, I don't. Yeah, everybody does. And everybody in your company sells. Every person that meets with anybody that's buying your product is selling, because selling isn't bad. Selling is about helping people. It's about giving people solutions. It's not about manipulation or any of that. It's about making a difference with whatever it is you're doing, and changing that perception can be a little hard. Somewhere when we grow up, we lose that resilience, if you think about it. When we were children, or even with your children, when you go to the grocery store, you're sitting in a line and it says, Mom, I want some M&Ms. You go, you can't have M&Ms. You're going to have dinner. Mom, I'll wait till after dinner. But somewhere as we grow up, we lose that ability to keep moving forward. But yeah, action, Kelly, that is so important. The more you tell your story, the better off you are.
One of the things that I noticed that is in the gap when it comes to selling is that people see selling as something negative, and or they're afraid that if they do that, they're going to lose the person, right? They're going to lose the client. And I want to go a little bit further than just selling. I want to extend it to making offers, because when we don't make offers to our audience, it is a disservice to them. Like I receive emails and I'm like, oh my gosh, this information is great, but there's no offer. And I have to go out and try to find out who is this person? What are they offering, right? So instead of thinking that you are selling, you are actually serving your clients. You're providing something that is valuable, that they're already looking for. They want to buy from you, but they cannot buy if you don't make an offer. So the invitation is make offers in order for you to serve your audience so they can have the result that they are looking for. And that's what I see that is in the gap when it comes to selling. That they are afraid to sound salesy. They're afraid that they get unsubscribed from their emails, or that people are not going to like them. Well, if they don't subscribe or they don't like them, then they were not your audience anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But when you are thinking about your ideal audience, you share your message and you provide the result that they're looking for, the sale is inevitable because you are providing something valuable to them. And that's what matters. And complete.
I love that, Sarah. I want to add in something. People move for either pain or pleasure. And the three things that I learned actually from Grant Cardone, and I apply this my daily every day on follow-ups. Is it the price? Is it not solving your problem? Or is it something else? And that's those three keys right there. You'll find out exactly why they're not moving forward or what they want out of I call it the sales experience, because it's no longer a sale no more in today's world. People want options and choices, and they want a relationship. So they don't want to be sold, like Beth was saying, in the store. You don't want to be sold on something, but you just want to be shown the way. It should be easy to do business with you, in today's world. So I love that price, not solving your problem or something else, and just stop talking and listen and let them tell you what they want, and they will tell you.
Yeah, awesome. Great insights, everyone. Beth, going back to you as a sales leader, where do you see founders and business leaders wasting the most time or energy in their sales process?
Not understanding the value of a lead. We become so transactional that if we can't get the deal, if someone reaches out and says, I'm interested in what you have, and it falls off, they're not going back and they're not continuing to reach out to these people. And they've already, at that point, usually they paid for it once. Well, let's get the most out of it and let's try to build relationships. When you say wasted the most time, it's probably wasted the most money, because in their mind, they're not wasting time because they're not spending any time, but it's a wasted opportunity, which I think is worse. As human beings, we waste time all the time. It's just missed opportunity because people make decisions and they wish they hadn't. And somebody else is going to get that business because they followed up and because they continue to nurture or love. I always say my people find their people, love their people, and keep their people. And the people is not the people working for them, but it could be, I guess, but it's their customers. And because then that nurturing, that loving of them, that sharing that value is so critical. I read an article, I wish I could remember where they got the information, but they say 85% of your customers cannot communicate the value that you bring. They have no idea, which means we're not addressing the value. We're not selling the value of who we are and having a relationship with us, which means probably the salesperson doesn't understand the value. And so it starts at the top down. And I think originally we talked about messaging. Was that you, Kelly, that was mentioned, the messaging? That's so critical, but it has to be messaging across the entire organization. And it has to come from the top down. And if it's just you, well, make it happen because you created the company for a reason. Now let's talk about the value you're going to bring to the table and what makes you different.
Points. All right. Well, Stephen, you talk a lot about alignment. How does that show up in a healthy sales ecosystem? And maybe what are some signs that it's missing?
Yeah, I'm big on company culture. I'm on my third scaling process now, and I've seen companies bought and sold and family owned dynamics, corporate structures. I worked for Fox Television out of college, so I was able to see a lot of different work environments. And you can see on people's face whether they truly enjoy what they do. And if you have to motivate your employees to come to work every day, you have a huge problem. And this is kind of the world we live in now. But I think people are starting to see it after the pandemic hit, and what's truly important to you and your family. And, is it money? Is it time? Is it freedom? What's important to you? So when you can satisfy all those certain things for people, you can see it on their face and you can see it how they move, and they will carry your brand for you if you treat them the way ultimately you want to be treated. I'm always going to go back to baseball, but a World Series team, 162 games, it's a lot of games. They play almost every day, and there's grinds and grits, and you got to keep the train moving in the right direction in order to reach that final game to hold up that trophy. Business is the same way. You got to be able to work within a team. communicate, understand what's important to people. It's no longer what is important to corporate. It's really important to what's important to people, because people have choices today. So if you want to build a team and you truly want to scale something, I know Kelly, Sara, and Beth have great experience in this from looking at their LinkedIn's, but you got to build a team environment, and everybody should feel, passion only takes you so far, but that courage, that grit, that ultimate end goal for everybody to win. I call it fitting everybody's dreams into that company's dream. That's when things really start to happen. That alignment will show up, and that pure authenticity will come out in your brand. And you get to the point where people look at everybody in the company and they don't know who the CEO is. That's when alignment hits. And I've been there twice, and my goal is to do that a third time. And I've also been there and then lost it all. So I've seen the different trajectories that the company can take. But when you get to that realm and it's no longer an I, it's about we, that's when the alignment takes in, and God kind of takes the steering wheel after that.
Powerful. Sara, you help leaders step into premium pricing with confidence. How do strong sales systems support that shift and keep those conversions consistent?
So one of the things that I teach them is to have a specific flow when it comes to making those offers, right? Like if there's something that I call myself the empire architect, because if there's something that I'm good at, it's like breaking down step by step what is it that they get to do in order to create that and in order to connect with their audience at a level that by the time that they share their message, they are ready to buy and become premium clients. But if we don't have a flow, if we don't have what I call the offer flow framework, then it's going to be very difficult for you to get there. And like Ellie said earlier, the connection, the intimacy, the openness that you have with your clients, that's what really connects. Is there something, I love AI. Let's clarify this. I love AI. But is there something that I see that is not working? Is all of the fake videos of people or the fake videos that are coming out, like that's not really connecting, like emotionally, because people know that they're fake videos, right? They know. So how can you really connect with your audience to the point that they want to work with you is being there and share the strategy that you are using that is helping you to support your clients so they can actually also use that strategy to support their clients in their own category, the industry that they're in. So that's what I feel that is missing, is in the gap with a lot of coaches, entrepreneurs, is that they don't have clarity in their message. They don't have clarity in the steps, the process. I guess that's what Stephen called the process. And in order to be able to connect with their ideal audience and provide that value.
Absolutely. And Kelly, you've coached teams through downturns and still helped them drive growth. Maybe you could share some tips on systems, rituals that made the biggest difference during those chaotic times.
Sure. So when teams are having a problem in a downturn, or they have actually seen their revenue decline, or they're plateauing out, what I always recommend, or how I help teams that are in that position, is we look at the data. The data, the numbers are not going to lie to us. So when we look at the data, and a lot of people, when they are selling, and I love that everybody's talked about an offer or the messaging that goes into it, a lot of people get lost in, we have no idea where their clients are coming from. So when you're working with a larger company that has a massive team, it's looking back and going, okay, who have we marketed to? What deals have closed? Who is this particular client? Or looking at, why in July did we have this massive growth last year? Was there a particular project we were working on? Something happened in the world that might have affected that, the cost of gas, tariffs. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. We can't perceive the future, but it's looking at all of those factors and going, okay, how do we recreate this massive growth, and what were the steps in order to get there? So it's physically looking at those pieces, where a lot of clients don't take the time to actually physically look at their data so they can make better, smarter, faster, quicker decisions to ignite change and be able to boost sales. So, because when we know where our leads and who we're marketing to, and we have that data, we can physically recreate that and then go out and have those conversations, build that trust, and be able to land more deals.
That's so true. So let's do kind of a rapid fire question here. We're going to go around the panel to wrap things up here. The question is, for anyone watching who feels like their sales success is still founder dependent, what's one thing they could do this quarter to start changing that? And we'll start back with you, Beth.
Ask yourself, if it has to be, does it have to be done by me? And if the answer is no, then find ways to delegate it, find ways to automate it, because as business owners, I understand, I did it too. I call it white knuckling. We hold on to everything, and we only have so much capacity. We have a vision, and don't let those things get in the way. Sometimes you're going to have to leap. It's going to be scary and it's going to hurt. And I am going to say it's going to be painful, because it was even painful for me. But do it. It makes all the difference in the world. And that's the number one thing, if it has to be. And remember, because you're the founder and you're the person selling it, you're going to have a commitment that no one else is going to have. And that's okay. But it also means that you can't expect someone to come in and sell for your company and sell like you do either, because they are not the founder. We can duplicate a lot of your process, but they're still not the founder. And so adjust your expectations that way.
Great insight.
Sorry, I gave you two things.
That was perfect. We got a bonus. All right, Sara, how about you? Anyone who's listening and they feel like they're still founder dependent,
stop doing low value work and hire an assistant. If you feel that you don't have the money to hire somebody full time, at least start part time until you scale to a point that you can have just an executive assistant like you offer, Harley, and then that person can actually do everything for you, and you can focus on the high value, high task that needs you, that nobody else can do at this moment, and that will allow you to scale a lot faster than you thought.
%. Awesome. Great points. All right, Kelly.
I promise that you get a do-over the next day. Even when it hits the fan, like you feel like giving up, I swear you get a do-over. You didn't mess it up that bad. We're all human, and get a good night's sleep, drink some water, have dinner, and I swear you get a do-over the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. It's also learning from those lessons, even on the hard days. We learn way more from the hard things, because that's where the actual growth happens, versus the easy things in our businesses. So I would say, I promise you get a do-over the next day. And then to Sara's point that she's made about offers through this whole conversation, which I love that you've talked about offers, it is much easier to go out and land a much higher selling offer than it is to go and do a low hourly rate because you just want to collect a check. So do-overs, and it is easier, quicker, faster to build the relationship and go out and sell the high value offer, because you're worth it. You are worthy of it. And so is your client, because you'll be able to help them.
Awesome. Well, huge thank you to all of our panelists for sharing so openly today, from the wins to the challenges and the mess to actual systems that make this all work. We're going to go around real quick, and everyone has an opportunity to share the best way for people to connect with them. We'll start again with you, Beth. How can people continue the conversation with you?
Just send me an email, beth@superpowerstrategies.com. That'll be the easiest way to do it. You can go to my website if you want to and fill out a That's fine. That's fine. Just send me an email.
All right. Thank you. And Sara?
So yeah, my website is sheprospersher.com. And yeah, that's the best way to connect with me and my offer.
Awesome. And Kelly?
For me, you can reach me. Best way is to reach me on LinkedIn at Kellyanne Peck. I am one that has my phone number and my email address there. So, Beth, I love that you were like, just send me an email so you can connect with me through there. And thanks, Harley, for having us today. We really appreciate it.
That's my pleasure.
Always fun.
And everyone who's joining us live or maybe catching the replay on the podcast later, thank you so much for being here. We know how much is on your plate, and our goal today is to help you grow without feeling buried in the day-to-day. As a special thank you, we're offering you free access to our masterclass, Delegate to Dominate, where I walk through exactly how top execs and leaders are reclaiming 15 to 30 plus hours a week with the right strategic support that we've talked about so much in today's episode. You can watch the masterclass and unlock a special bonus offer just for our panel viewers at workergenix.com/bonus-masterclass. Thank you again for being with us, and we'll see you all on the next Executive Edge Live.